Hey, this is Phil Lilley, Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on Lake Taneycomo, Branson, Missouri. Going to do one cast today. Starting today, and I'm not sure if we're going to do it every Monday, but on Mondays we're going to try to kind of introduce one cast and kind of what we're doing. One cast we started in January of 2015, coming out on the dock at that time and casting one time, usually with a marabou jig, and seeing if we can catch a trout off our dock. And we've been doing it every day since then, 4.5 years. We missed one day the first summer we did it, but otherwise we do it every day. We go anywhere from 7 to 8 minutes up to 30 minutes, depends on how good the fishing is and how long we leave the camera running. There's no edits. It is what it is. And at the end of the video, we give kind of the statistics. The first cast is the official cast. We cast the first time. If we catch a fish, we mark it down. If we get a bite, we mark it down. If we don't catch a fish, we mark it down. And we have a running total. Lake Taneycomo is part of the White River system in northwest Arkansas and up here in southwest Missouri. Below Table Rock Dam is Lake Taneycomo. It's a cold water lake. The water comes out of the dam at about 130 foot deep, and that's what makes it cold all year long. Right now it's about 53, 54 degrees, 55. It's a little bit warm, but that's pretty typical for this time of year. They can run up to 4 units of water, and we usually give flow rates and what they've been doing at the water and a little bit of fishing report, and then we cast and try to catch fish. We use, like I said, mainly marabou jigs, but occasionally we'll throw a fly, and that's what I'm going to do this evening. Here come those geese again. I was down here yesterday, and they flew over me. Get this off. Not quite a biggest group this time. There's about double that many yesterday, and they dive bombed me. Like I said, it is what it is. I'll move the camera around. I need to. I shoot with a little GoPro 5. So what I'm doing this evening, I came down here last evening and I threw a little 32nd ounce jig, and I was trying to catch trout that were coming up and midging on the surface, coming up and taking little midges. And usually it works, but yesterday it didn't work too good. But today I came up here armed with my fly rod, and I'm going to fish a zebra midge. It's a number 16 green with a a nickel head. I have 6X fluorocarbon tippet, and I've got little pulsa about 16, 18 inches above the fly. So that's how far deep or underneath the surface I'm going to be fishing. And what I'm going to do, maybe not right now, because I'm gonna wait just a little bit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna target some fish out here. When they come up and surface, I know that they're right there feeding on a midge. Well, they feed on the dries and they feed on the pupas, and this is a pupa fly. A zebra midge is imitating that little worm that swims up from the bottom to the surface, and out of the worm comes an insect and so on and so forth. They look like mosquitoes, and they're in the mosquito family, but they're midges. They do not bite. So, but they're coming up a little bit. But yesterday when I left, they're coming up all over the place. So that's kind of what I'm going to be waiting on, is for them to come up and start midging here just a little bit. So that's kind of the introduction. we'll come back here in a minute and see if we can catch fish. It is sunset is at 7:18 and it's 7:16 right now. And I thought I'd better go ahead and get started. They're starting to midge, not super hard, but they are starting to midge. I thought I better get it done before it gets too dark. You can't see. I drifted down and fished kind of through underneath the power line a little ways through that 32nd ounce jig I threw yesterday, and didn't do any good. Had about 3 or 4 bites, kind of like last night. Drop. Usually boat traffic will drive them down. They won't midge for a little bit, so I give them a chance to settle a little bit. I'm going to ease out here because they're midging out here. And there's no guarantee they'll hit this, but it is fun trying because you're targeting fish. I'm throwing a 5-weight, 9 foot. It's an Axiom 2 Temple Fork rod. Weight forward, 5-weight, floating line, little tapered leader. So basically, I kind of wait till I see one come up and then throw at it. Sometimes they don't cooperate very well. Now you can throw a soft tackle or a crackleback or a little merger or something like that. When these fish are midging. This is not a cast. I'm waiting for one to come up. So those geese are taking off again someplace. They're over there someplace. Water was off all day today till this evening, or this afternoon, mid-afternoon or so. They suddenly went down. They're not midging anymore. Last night I had midges all over my head, just swarming thick. Tonight, not so much. So that might be another reason why they're not coming up and feeding quite so much as they did last night. It's because there's not as many hatching. I see them midging a little bit there and there, but they're pretty far between. There's really not anything coming up that's even close that I can run to. Oh, there's some up here. Let's just kind of mosey up here. Yeah, there's one just above me. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see the float. Yeah, I can. He might have touched it, he might not have. Oh, there's one up there. So I did not get a fish on my first cast. Now I can't see the float. That's one problem fishing this late. Of course, when your line takes off, it means you got a fish. It's a little one. There's a bunch of geese. Those are the ones that flew over my head last night, I bet you. Noisy. Fooey, fooey, fooey. It's a little white pulsa. Actually, it's a half pulsa that I just pinch onto the line. It's for my indicator. It didn't take anything at all to pull it under. That's I like using them. Plus, it doesn't affect your cast any. But it's so small. It's white, so I can see it if I throw it out here in the dark reflection of the dark trees. But if I throw it up here, where there's sky, you can't see it. It disappears in the white. Tell you what, I'm not seeing hardly anything. They were coming up pretty good just a little bit ago. I am 1 for 1. One fish midging, and I caught him. So I am using the right fly, maybe. When you see a fish come up and midge, he's just coming up and just barely, usually just barely dimpling in the water. So you can see that it's like something dropped in the water. You can see the rings. And that's where you throw, is in that vicinity. In my experience, usually the splash of the fly and the float attracts their attention. It's either that or they spook and run. Sometimes you got to cast 2 or 3 times around the fish. He might be moving away from you or to the side, and you can kind of cast out in front of him if you see the direction he's going. Last night at this time, you'd look up here and you'd see 100 fish rising at any one time. Tonight I can see 3 or 4, 5. I got one right up here. See if I can slip over the side of him. He was right out here. Of course, the boat can spook him. Of course, he's not coming up now. I probably should have, there's one right there, brought something I could strip. So at least I could be doing something waiting on these fish. They're really starting to kind of rise up in front of me. Oh, I got right on top of him. He did not take it. It's probably moving up, so I'll throw out in front of him. Typically, if they don't take it within 10-15 seconds, I'm moving it. Now I'm having a real hard time seeing that float even in the dark background. And they quit coming up. It's almost like I'm chasing them. Well, I got one. Usually early in the morning is a good time to catch these fish on a zebra midge. I personally, right now, I would be going up towards Fall Creek and fishing it a little bit shallower water, or even up in the trophy area. It ought to be really good. Early in the morning. Before that sun gets up. I got some fish down here. Out of camera range, sorry. Eat it. Yep, eat it. There's quite a few right down here, right on the edge of this scum line. I'm kind of midging in a little school. Another small rainbow. And at that, I think I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for watching. There's phone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.